One of the key reports that you need when you're doing due diligence is inspection. I cannot tell you how many times that I've looked at a property on Property 24, I've seen these amazing photos, and when I get to the property, I think to myself, is this even the same house? So it's really, really important that you don't just take the agents on their word of what the condition of the unit is. Make sure that you either get somebody who's got building experience, a friend, an uncle, or someone who's maybe an architect or a builder, or pay someone who is registered with the NHBRC to do a detailed inspection of the unit. It is such a worthwhile activity and it could save you hundreds of thousands of rands.
I educate people to reach financial freedom through property through cash flow positive investments, specializing in the low income multi-let residential market.
So 3 main reasons why you need to do an inspection. Number 1, to determine the condition. Right? You want to know how much am I going to have to pay upfront for renovations, and what kind of provision would I need to set aside on a monthly basis to maintain the condition of the unit? Is it compliant to standard or code? So many properties that I've looked at, the geyser is inside the bathroom and it's not compliant. Now that's going to cost me maybe 10 to 15,000 rand to replace it, put it outside and get my COC on that geyser. That's a lot of money. That's money that I need to be accounting for in my upfront renovations, and I can use that to justify a lower price with the seller and to renegotiate the offer. That's probably the most important part of the inspection. I'll often send the 50-page report that my inspector sends of all the small little cracks and everything like that, and I'll say, look at how bad this property is. It is completely run down, and that's why I'm offering 50,000 rand less, because now I have to spend 50,000 or whatever it is to fix the property. So there's a great reason as to why we are doing this. We want to understand the condition and see if there's some room to negotiate because it's not compliant or just to code. So the process is quite simple. Step 1, you need to get a deal under contract. You need to sign an OTP, and in that OTP you give yourself a 2-week due diligence period. You then get a couple of quotes from inspectors. You can use maybe a trusted friend, but I would recommend using someone independent. You then need to pay about a 30 to 50% deposit depending on the inspector. So they'll give you a quote, you choose the best one, you pay 50% of the fee, then you pay the balance at the end. So obviously the inspector then needs to go out, do the inspection, they'll give you a report once the balance has been paid. You then look at the report and you see, okay, this is actually fine. Sometimes I stop at this point and I'm like, actually the condition of the property is lacquer. Sometimes I look at this and I think, you know what, it might actually be best that I get a couple of quotes for this and this, because, you know, the kitchen needs a lot of work. The kitchen cabinets I know are expensive. I can see that the geyser is not compliant, so I want to add a cost for that. All right, so then you reach out to a contractor. You can go through the building inspector. They have lots of contacts. Otherwise, you use someone that you trust and know. The contractor will provide a cost and time estimate. Now you got to decide, right? Am I going to be able to do this or not? You update your numbers. So now you put your upfront cost. Let's say the contractor comes back and says, you know, you're going to get away with 50,000, but then that's just to get it to this level. You still need to put another 15% aside monthly to be able to cover your maintenance cost. So now you update your numbers. You put 50,000 rand as an upfront cost and you put 15% maintenance provision on the side. Now you go back to the seller or to the agent and you say, listen, 50,000 is expected from this report. Look at my inspector's report. Look at my builder's quote. I don't have the funds to be able to pay this. This needs to come out of the deal. So I'm lowering my offer, and that's then when you sign a new contract, and then once it's in your name, you can proceed with the repairs. Now, an inspector is a key person that you need to develop within your power team, and inspectors have different level of services. Here is an inspector's quote that I recently looked at. His one option is a walkthrough inspection. So this is just to help you decide on a property prior to signing the offer. It's just quickly what's some of the verbal and visual detail that the person can see. So they'll spend about an hour through the property. They'll just do a quick walkthrough and they'll say, just look out for that 2,200 rand. That's not bad. Then you've got the SOP inspection. So this is where they go through it and they give you a written punchy report. Okay, 3,400. Then you've got your master inspection. This is when they give you a detailed 30, 40-page report of every single issue. You've also got things like mold sampling. You know, if you just want to understand if there's a mold issue. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because you've got different types of inspectors who have different offerings. So it depends how much of a due diligence you want to do. If you've gone to the property and you think it's in great shape and you don't think that there's any renovations, maybe you just want to do a quick walkthrough and just say, listen, I want you to just have a look. Let's walk through it together. Let's spend an hour there and just tell me what you think is an issue. Sometimes when I'm buying a block of flats, I'll ask for a master inspection. I want them to go through every single unit. So it depends. It depends how much information you want and what fits your budget. So let's say that you've gotten a report, you've spoken to an inspector, they've done the review. How do you interpret this report now? Now, most inspectors will give a grading to each of the items that they find that need to be fixed. What my inspector does, which I think is pretty cool, is she does red, blue, and green. Now, red is serious stuff you need to fix in the next few moments because otherwise it's going to cause a massive problem. Your blue is items that need to be, looked at within the next 2 years. And then green is, in the next 3 to 5 years, it needs to be in your maintenance plan, but long term. So red is the next 3 to 6 months. This is priority, fix it now. The blue, you've got 2 years to fix it. And then green is your long-term maintenance plan. So as an example, here's a red item. So this is a leaking sewage pipe at the entrance of the garage. Now this is a health risk. So if my insurance company or if someone from the municipality came to come and do an inspection, well, I'd lose my insurance and I'd probably get a fine from the municipality because this hasn't been tended to. So that's a red item that must be fixed now. An example of a blue item, this paint was peeling in the basement parking. Okay, I mean, if I fix this now, if I fix it in 6 months, if I fix it in 2 years, it's probably not going to stop my insurance company. My tenants aren't going to leave because of it. It's not the most pressing issue. But when I do my annual or biannual painting, I'll put this on the list. And then an example of a green item, here she's recommending fluorescent lights with LEDs to be a little bit more energy efficient. Again, nice idea, and if you have budget, perfect, go for it, but it's probably something that will be in my 3 to 5 year roadmap. Maybe I'll do a rehaul of all of the lights and get everything to energy efficiency, and that would be in my 4-year plan. Then, once you've established what your key risks are, your red items and maybe some of your blue items, you go to a contractor and you get a quote. And you quote out exactly what needs to be done. And once you have the costs, you can then create a maintenance schedule. And you can say, well, based on the income that I'm getting in, based on what I have in my kitty, based on what I can budget and what I can finance, I'm going to start with the geysers. And then I'm going to do the piping. And then I'm going to do the painting. And then I'm going to fix this unit. So you can schedule it out and say in January, I'm doing this. And then in February, when I get the income from the building, I'm going to take 10% and I'm going to fix the geysers. And then in March, I'm going to get another rental income. I take 10% of the profits there and I put it into the painting. And that's how you start to slowly phase out the renovations. So you'll have some upfront renovations. With that deal, my upfront renovation will be fixing the sewer pipes. That needs to be paid for now. But the painting of the basement wall, I'm going to use the rental income to do those renovations over time. And then the LED lights, again, I'm going to use the rental income accrued to slowly start saving up for that. So that's where the schedule comes in. So let's say that you're looking at this building. The photos are from 2007, which is 15 years ago. You get your inspector to go in, do a detailed assessment of what the status of this property is. Then you get a contractor in. The contractor says, my quote is 80,000 Rand to fix it. Now, what you can do, the power of getting an inspection report is you can go back to the agent and say, hey, 80,000 Rand, I didn't know that was coming. You didn't say that the property needed that much work. So I'm going to decrease my offer by 80,000 due to the results of the inspection. And that's how you can negotiate a better price using one of these tools, this proof of condition. So in summary, doing your inspection report is really important. You start by getting the deal under contract. You get some quotes, you pay a deposit, you pay the balance, you get your report. You then get a contractor to look at the results, to then update your numbers with upfront and provision costs. You can then renegotiate terms with your final offer, and then once it's transferred into your name, you can proceed with repairs. An inspection report can really give you peace of mind. It can help you to determine the condition and what the upfront renovation costs are, as well as your monthly provisions, to work out exactly where you are compliant and where you are not compliant, because a lack of compliance will mean you can't get insurance. So it's important for you to know what is to code and what isn't, and then to be able to use the result to reduce an offer price and get the discount that you deserve.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Some people don't like to invest in property on their own and they want to leverage an expert in the environment. So if you are sitting on a bit of capital that you want to have work harder for you and you're not quite sure how to get into the property game yourself, join my property partnership program. This is where I find the deal, I manage it, and you get a good return on your money.